LoungeMediaPro.com.
You know, in Amsterdam, they were playing Christmas rap, and Polygram, the record company, wanted me to get on a plane and go there. I'd never been on a plane. I got off a plane in Amsterdam. They was like, Mr. Simmons, what can we do for you? You know, I was young back then, me and Curtis Blow, right? So, Mr. Simmons, I said, I want some coke and some bush. They took me and bought me the coke and the bush, right? Now, this Mr. Simmons thing, it meant so much to me because it was an inspiration to keep going. And that I remember better than any check.
Wow.
That somehow you're giving of something, you know, artists talk about what they want to get out of life, but they really want everybody to hear their poetry. It's really what they want to do. Because either way, they're going to breathe the same air. So I learned that, but I didn't know at the time that that was the greatest gift. The Mr. Simmons thing wasn't a gift. The fact that people were listening to my work, and that was inspiring people, that's what was the gift. So I remember the first time I got to, I'm not Mr. Simmons like Mr. Simmons sit in your seat, Mr. Simmons go to the store. It's like Mr. Simmons, you know, manager of this hot new act, you know what I mean? Mr., you know what I mean? And that meant so much to me. And I never forget that, and I think that was more important than the money. And today, certainly all of the blessings that I count on a regular basis are not money, but, you know, real wealth. You know? So.
Let me ask you, Russell, you know, you guys out there, especially on the East Coast, man, it's like you guys have done an incredible business in hip-hop. And, I mean, a lot of people follow behind you, you know what I mean, because you've been doing it, and you put it down so hard. I mean, you know, you Run DMC, I mean, just in Def Jam itself, just like Public Enemy, LL Cool J, I mean, Third Base. I mean, you guys hit a lot of stuff, man, you know what I mean? What is it about the East Coast out there, you guys are good businessmen, man. Where does that come from, and how does that break down, man?
I can speak for myself that I'm a serviceman, you know, and a businessman. I'm surrounded by smarter people than me in every business. So, you know, the development of different, the comedy was because the comedians were hot and needed somebody to work for them. The clothing is because there was a void. And our financial service company is my biggest company, and that's because people need, you know, this kind of service. They needed a virtual bank account, and something that builds their credit, whatever, the rush card, you know. So I'm finding that what I've been able to do is serve the cause, you know, serve a thing, you know, like we make records that no one makes. Not make the record that sound like it's a hit, but make the record that sound like, that's where I had the most fun. When I made records, no one knew what they were. But yet you can feel it. You say, well, I love the way it feels. I just don't know if I can play it. Well, if you love it, what do you think? You beyond everybody? And that was always the best gift, to give something new. And to me, that's what I enjoyed. So in business, I try to fill voids or give people services that they honestly need. Or give them even records, I think, that actually fill a hole.
No doubt about it, man. You have done some incredible groups, man, and I wanted to ask you about LL Cool J because LL Cool J has stayed on Def Jam the whole time and gave you guys some incredible records even now. Just last year, Headsprung was just out of here, you know what I mean? How do you keep a business thing? How do you keep a relationship like that, Russell, with somebody? You know what I mean?
LL, at the last minute, we went back to him and made a deal where he owned his masters. I don't know if that's public knowledge. I hope it's not a problem for him to know that. I mean, for people,
I think I read that, so it's out there.
I think it's pretty much public knowledge. We gave him some, just like retaining Jay-Z was kind of that same kind of deal. The idea is to keep giving and not be too tight, because the more you give, the more you get. That's the process, right? So with LL, we were able to make a deal that allowed him the kind of equity he needed to go forward. And, you know, always try to support, within reason, artist development. And also, to make an artist last is to sell the truth and not to misguide him, and always try to make an artist move towards their higher self, so that way they can remind themselves. You start talking about how stupid you are, you will act stupid. I heard one rapper saying, oh yeah, so 50's the highest rapper? I guess I'm going to have to run through him and his crew. And this is an artist at the time who said this, weighs about, I don't know, 8 pounds. But he was saying this stuff, and then, you know, he said some other stuff, and I was like, oh man, it sounds scary. And the next thing, he got in a lot of trouble. And I think artists talk themselves into a frenzy. And of course, everybody is tough. You know what I mean? Everybody can get tough. You know, all of the artists can. But a lot of them know something else too. The idea is to help them say something else and believe in themselves in a different way as well. That way they can grow instead of, you know, put themselves in a hole. And if you can develop their true nature or their higher nature, they last. They become, you know, they're self-sufficient. They don't destroy themselves, because now they're talking about, their poetry is about going somewhere better as opposed to going deeper in.
Russell, can I ask you about Public Enemy? I mean, when you guys work with Public Enemy and signed that group, did you guys think about that then? Just how powerful those lyrics were, and just how it was gonna stir people up. I mean, it's just it was crazy. I never forget that coming
around
out
the office when they were having a lot of problems because name of that record, My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Yeah, My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
We sat around our office constantly, and there was a dispute the other day. Chuck said, "You never said that first." I said it all the time, and I thought I came up with it. And I've been saying I came up with it for a lot of years. Chuck said, "You didn't come up with it. Bill Stephanie came up with it." But if I heard it, you know how you hear something, and my bullets are my words, and my Uzi is my mouth. And it's so powerful. And if they don't understand the way you're putting it, the people in the street do. And the fact that he was saying such powerful stuff. And as he started to think about and work more on that idea, he became even more inspired to say even more powerful stuff. Now, if you had went home and said, "My Uzi weighs a ton," and that means that I got more ammo than everybody else, and my weight, I put in more work than anybody, then he could also reach for all the stuff that that came out of his neighborhood and all that energy. But he reached for a different energy, and he became increasingly more that person that was doing something special with his words.
No doubt about it, man. Man, I want to get into something. I mean, you got so much stuff from Def Jam, I don't even know what to get to. We got Russell Simmons in the house. I know you got some new stuff, but can I take him back? Let's go, PE, man. We got Russell Simmons in the house. I got so much Def Jam to play, it's not even no joke, man. 93.5 KDAY, yeah.
What you want to do for me?
Don't worry, we love the favorite name, Blurry. Julio G, 93.5 KDAY, of course, about the day back in the day. PE right there. We got Russell Simmons in the house. I had to take you back, Russell, to that, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Incredible work right there, man.
You know what's interesting? You play that, and I was talking about my man Dro. It's very interesting because listening to that PE reminds me of someone who reached deeper and said something more about, and that was my favorite vocalist, I mean. So my thing changes daily. I listen to a brand new artist, that's my favorite rapper ever. You know what I mean? I listen to Dro's album a minute ago, he's the best rapper ever on Def Jam. If you love music, you're inspired in different ways by different artists.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what Chuck D did in the music, all that alternative, loud, I love that. You know what I mean?
It's never been done again. I don't know if anybody ever captured people like that and revolutionized people in that moment. That era was just a very conscious thinking era, you know what I mean? Regardless if it was NWA too, because they had you just kind of thinking that era, right. You know what I mean? Yeah. That whole era, you know what I mean? We got Russell Simmons in the house, everybody. 93.5 KDAY.
Most wanted.
America's Most, you know what I mean? Right, There's a lot of good ones. That was a good time right there, man.
It's coming around again. It goes in cycles. And we got a lot of people saying a lot of inspiring stuff. I got to tell you the story. Runs down. He made it in 10 days. He said the Holy Spirit wrote it.
Wow.
You see Reverend lately. He got this cape and collar. He's like a little bit of a character, right? But he's like a Christian yogi, a very serious Christian, but not a judgmental Christian. And he made this record in 10 days. It was loud. It's loud. It don't sound like nothing on the radio. It doesn't sound like this record. And he made it, and a lot of it's about, just like Raising Hell was and Down to King was, and a lot of the records was about spiritual matters, but you almost can't hear it. He got a song, Break Him Till It's Broken, but he's talking about how God will break you, but you don't know that. First time. A lot of his records say, subliminally, talk about, the higher self.
Russell, can I ask you, do you think the audience now is listening like that anymore? You think the audience is really capturing really the lyrical form of hip hop?
I mean, man, they definitely can hear everything. I'm sometimes saddened by people who are really young and they're suburbanites who hear artists and the artists aren't putting their heart in their music. And I'm not knocking the artists because they're great, witty rhymesmiths and they say great, creative, funny, witty things. But the heart connects in a way that you can't beat. The heart always kills everything. So just because the other rappers are saying a certain thing and they're getting paid for it, some of them might honestly have that struggle still in their mind, even though they've traveled. But other people who come, like I said, I want my artists to move towards the light. I don't care where they come from. They come from the worst struggle and the worst place. And of course they can't, you don't move somebody out of the hood and they leave the hood behind. They always got love for it. And sometimes it takes them years to get the part of the hood, that the ignorance and the poverty out of their brain. No matter how rich they are, they're still carrying that with them. But over a period of time, we want them to move towards something better. And then the audience can move with them. And then you respect them because you don't want to go off somewhere, become a big pop star, and then tell everybody, let's go crazy. Because you're not going crazy. And so we want artists, I want my mission to be, try to help people see a way to, get even bigger, not to cut them short either.
Yeah.
Because I don't think violence sells or negativity sells. Because one good Disney movie, is bigger than all the Godfather movies put together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact,
That's a fact, yeah, no doubt
Will
about
Smith's the biggest rapper. Don't get it twisted. I mean,
Yeah.
he do 3 movies in a year at $25 million a movie. He's killing everybody.
Yeah.
Everything. I got still a lot of companies to be next to that man.
Yeah,
Like,
no doubt. No doubt. That's crazy.
But Will might not be your flavor, but there's a lot of things you could say, especially if you come from the struggle and you speak to the struggle. You got a lot of things on your mind. Let's think about some of the higher things sometimes. I'm not knocking. I love everybody. I'm just saying sometimes let's think about it.
Russell, let me ask you about the music business. Like Def Jam Records is a label that got people to, like, major labels to want to be interested in rap music. I mean, when Def Jam took off, then a lot of people said, "Oh, hey, we should sign it too." You know what I mean? We should. Do you think that artists are getting a fair deal nowadays in the record
I just
game?
negotiated some deals with some new artists. One from Houston in the hood, one from right here, one from Far Rockaway. I did the Girls Black Butterflies. It's our single most added record in the country. Our first record. And man, I was surprised to find out when they started talking about points, they wrestled me to the ground for more points than I ever gave anybody. My production deal was less points than I just gave my man Dro.
Wow.
My production deal was a lot less points than he got as one artist. So I'm just saying that's a difference. Are they getting? The problem is when the record companies, the videos are very expensive, the marketing is very expensive, the chargebacks are a lot. And the record company's not making no money because of piracy. And the artist's not making any money because of the chargebacks. And the industry and the stores are making less money because there's just so much. So they have to find a new format, a new way to make money, to monetize it, because they're using more music now than ever. So they have to find new ways to ringtones, new ways to monetize their creative process, because the artists who make the music should get paid and should make a lot of money. They're getting a lot more points, and they're still not making the money they deserve. And the record companies, again, are losing money, so it's not as easy to say the record companies are robbing the artists. So it's a catch. It's a little twisted right now.
It's all good. We got Russell Simmons in the house, man. This is a lot of fun. This is like, I got a million questions. I don't know what to ask you first. Let's get into this song, though, man.
LoungeMediaPro.com